I'm pregnant with our third baby, and the dog cheats with my best friend. They're gonna regret this.
This infamous Reddit revenge story gets progressively worse.
You have been warned. I'm honestly not sure where to start, so I guess I'll just start. My husband and I have been dating since I was 19 and he was 22. We've been married for 6 years now. We have 2 kids, and I'm 6 months pregnant, with our third. 2 years ago, I found out my dad has stage 3 colon cancer. My dad is my only parent, as my mom passed away when I was 12. He's my favorite person, and life without him doesn't seem as colorful. His laugh is contagious, and he gives these big bear hugs that seem to make all of your broken pieces feel like they're perfectly in place again. Whenever I've had a hard day, he doesn't poke and prod, and just lets me vent and listens. About 5 months ago, we discovered the treatments aren't working for him, and in direct quote of the doctor, he said, months, not years. Since then, he's gotten progressively worse, and now is losing memory. He looked at the dog he got for me on my 21st birthday and said,
"Wow, that's a nice dog. Where'd you get it?"
My husband has been my absolute rock. He has been there for me, holding my hand and helping me through this. He's been so loving and attentive to both my kids and I. Don't get me wrong, I am a mother first, always. I don't allow myself to wallow. My kids are still loved, cared for, played with, and I haven't let my load slack around the house. Once my dad got his updated prognosis, my husband encouraged me to quit my job. About a month later, we discovered I was pregnant again. At that time, I still hadn't let go of my job. I kept holding out for some reason. After finding out I was pregnant again, he insured me. It was still okay to quit my job, that honestly it would save us a small fortune on daycare costs anyways. So I did. I quit my job. My best friend and I have been friends since diapers. Her family is like my family, and vice versa. My mom and her mom grew up together. We've always been solid and right after my dad's appointment, when we found out he had so little time left. I drove straight to her house, and she held me, while I cried for hours. If there are soulmates in friend form, she was mine. Thick as thieves, is what my mom used to say. This morning, as I was up with my 3-year-old, he's sick. My husband's work alarm was going off. He has a few he sets, so I turned that one off and gently woke him up. He said he was up late working, so he took the morning off, rolled over, and went back to sleep. As I went to turn off the remainder of his coming alarms, I saw a text from my friend on his lock screen that said,
"I'm assuming, since there hasn't been an angry pregnant lady on my doorstep, you haven't told her about us yet?"
Time froze. In that moment, I took his phone and walked away and just read their entire conversation. 4 months. 4 months. This man has been fucking my best friend. 4 whole months these people have been lying to my face. And I know what you're going to say. You should have seen the warning signs. But I've been clutching this phone in my hand for 2 hours and nothing. He has been so loving and attentive to me. He always has been, so kind and gentle. There has been no late-night work nights, except for once in a blue moon. There has been 0 lingering touches between them, or even glances. They act as they have since the day I first introduced them. How sick is it that she calls him her brother? But she screws him? I know so many people get a moment of clarity in situations like this, but I have none. Aside from being sad about my dad, I haven't changed. I'm still a loving wife and mother. I still doted on him and my children. I talk to him about how he is doing and how was his day, every freaking day. I haven't allowed the ground to swallow me whole. I know what I have to do now, but I just don't want to. I'm about to lose my family and my support system in one blow. I'll confront him tomorrow. Today, I just need this last 24 hours of peace. As for her, I won't give her the satisfaction of a response. I don't care why she did it. She did it and it's done. I was always the friend who cleaned up her messes. After today, I will cut her out of my life, like she never mattered at all. This has to be the hardest storm I'll ever weather. But damn it, I know I'll sail through it. If not for me, for my children.
Honestly, you already have plenty of good advice on here, except for the one about trying to work it out. So all I'll say is, hang in there. You're doing amazing. You've got this, and you're going to come out stronger than ever.
Thank you, truly.
Hey, go see a lawyer. Now. Don't confront. Act as normal as you, and for the love of God. Go see a lawyer first, before you make any moves. This loving, kind husband will turn nasty the second you confront him, knowing he has a backup to run to when things get tough.
Ma'am, this is the most important thing here. Don't take any actions without going to talk to a lawyer first. Don't even accept your old job until you've spoken with a lawyer. And a good one. You will have to pay the retainer, so if you want, you can go ahead and start diverting funds for that. You need to talk to an experienced divorce lawyer, so they can help you come up with an exit strategy. I found out my ex was cheating when I was pregnant with our third child. Our state did not allow for me to divorce him while pregnant, but I could file for legal separation, which saved me in the long run. Until you have a plan, do not let your husband or your friend know anything. Your lawyer will help you protect your interests and make sure you get the most financially from him that you need. People can become really vindictive when they know you are done with them. When my ex knew that I was leaving, he racked up $40,000 in credit card debt, cashed out his 401k, and bought a property. I was almost on the hook for half of everything, and I was locked out of his retirement funds, since he cashed them out. He even had my car repossessed, just to be petty. Don't take his word for anything. Get every single agreement in writing. I learned the hard way that pregnancy hormones don't mix well with divorce. I had never really been thinking about deletion, up until that point. But pregnancy hormones made me feel everything times 1,000. Do what you need to do to have a healthy pregnancy. Protect your mental health as well.
Screenshot and save those messages before he can delete them.
I did. I emailed everything to myself in an old email I haven't used since high school and don't keep saved in my apps. That way, if he goes through my phone, he doesn't find it. I'm not a very good liar or good at keeping a poker face. But since he woke up, I've just been using the excuse that I'm upset about my dad and just need space. He bought it. I called around for a couple of lawyers and found one before he woke up, so I've been emailing them back and forth for the last half an hour.
You're light years ahead of other people who refuse to accept the facts. Good for you. Seriously, most people with kids would be floundering and lost right now, and rightfully so. Betrayal by a cheater is brutal, but a double betrayal like this is exceptionally traumatizing. OP is incredibly strong. She's doing things in the right order. Logistics now, grieve later. In my line of work, I see certain people go on autopilot mode when a loved one is dying. It's their coping mechanism. In all honesty, it's probably better she find out now versus after her dad passes, or at the arrival of the new baby. Work through all the bad stuff at one time versus prolonging the carnage. The fact that she is on autopilot to get through the day is good in terms of getting things done. But yes, to have that clarity of mind and operate to get things done is amazing in her situation, and I wish her all the best. I sincerely hope her husband realizes what a wretched decision he made, and that her friend makes him absolutely miserable.
He encouraged you to quit your job while he was cheating on you, forcing you to remain dependent on him. Well, he picked the wrong woman. Considering his lover seems to be putting pressure on him to confess so she can enjoy the confrontation, your plan to cancel her is the best. They are both despicable people. Don't listen to their justifications and lies. It'll be funny, though, the weird lines they'll draw that somehow maintains this warped sense of integrity. You deserve sincere love in abundance.
Thank you. I needed to hear this.
Get a copy of everything. Lawyer up, go scorched earth. Talk to the lawyer before confronting him. For that text, she seems to be pushing for him to leave you. Burn her in your circle, too.
Honestly, I wish you could see just how desperately she was pushing for him to leave me. Bad-mouthing me at every turn. He always shut down the bad-mouthing and told her, "I will never leave her. You know your place." It made me cringe and want to throw up. Like, oh, you'll hump my best friend, but trash-talking me is where you draw the line? It would be comical if I didn't feel like my world was exploding.
Can you talk to your former employer and see if they would rehire you? It doesn't hurt to ask.
Her and I grew very close, and she was devastated to see me leave. Even if my old position isn't available, I know she'd have something open for me. She's on my list of people to contact today to get myself sorted. A small update about everything going on, since my kids are now in bed for the night. I spent the morning gathering everything I could and making a checklist. I sat in my office for the better part of the morning, telling my husband that I was preparing things for my dad. Not a total lie. I did have to get him sorted with hospice today. My boss would be happy to have me back. However, my lawyer said, pump the brakes on that idea for the time being. However, my old boss did tell me that whenever I'm ready, the door is open and to just give her a call. He does not have access to my inheritance from my father, nor my mother's. My lawyer ensured me in that. I didn't mention her in the first post, but my mother-in-law is an absolute angel. I love and adore her so much, and she's always been a shoulder to lean on. After he had gone to work for the afternoon, I asked my now ex-best friend's mother and my mother-in-law to meet me at my dad's house. My kids were outside playing with now ex-BFF's older brother. I just handed them the screenshots, saving them from the unsavory pictures and sex tape, though. But I did tell them it existed. To say they were furious was an understatement, and they are on my side completely. Angie, my now ex-BFF's mother, is ready to cut contact with her daughter completely. She kept repeating how sorry she was. We hugged and cried together. My mother-in-law told me she couldn't believe she raised a spineless, terrible human, that no matter what happens, I will always have her, and as far as she's concerned, she doesn't have a son, only a daughter. After an in-person meeting with my lawyer, we went over finances, logistics, and everything you could think of. She has all of the proof. Oh, and she's out for blood. With this post now on TikTok, I don't want him to find out by an app because one look at the story and he'd know it was about him. With permission from my lawyer, my ex-BFF, her mom and dad, my soon-to-be ex and his parents, we'll be having a get-together tomorrow. At the time, they're relaxed and sitting down. They'll be shown everything, and that I know. My dad, my kids, and my ex-BFF's brother will be at my dad's cabin a few hours away, enjoying time and space. The brother, let's call him Jake, is brought up to speed and is willing to help me juggle the kids and my dad. Being big and pregnant doesn't help with mobility. I know a lot of people were hoping for me to get revenge or do psychological warfare, but honestly, after my kids went to bed, I took a shower. And just broke. I don't have the strength or energy to dish anything out. I just want out. Pretending like everything was okay today was too exhausting, and I just don't want to do it. Once he finds out tomorrow, I'll update with the aftermath, as I'm sure it will be huge. As for now, thank you all so much for your kindness, warmth, and support. Truly, your words have helped giving me the strength to keep my head above water. I appreciate every single last one of you for everything.
You don't need psychological warfare when you're a full-blown soldier. And sis, you certainly are. I'm so sorry you're going through so much right now, but I've never been more confident of a woman and her kids being A-okay in the long run. You got this.
I hope you have a separate bank account with your own emergency funds stashed. If not, please use the time now to create one and put some funds there that he doesn't have access to. This goes for credit cards too, if yours are only connected to joint accounts.
Thankfully, we signed a prenup, and I've always been a very big saver, where he's always been a huge spender. So when I got my inheritance at 24 from my mom, I never touched it, and it's just been growing interest. Oh, he doesn't know about this. I'll also be getting my childhood home when my dad goes, which I hope it's not for a while. But I know the kids and I can move in at any point, and he'd welcome us with open arms.
You have no idea how happy I am to see this response. You have your own money and a place to go right now, if you choose to do so. I sure hope that infidelity is a reason to void the prenup, if there will be any other agreements in there. Hope you can take his ass to the cleaners. Best of luck to you and your dad.
Royal AI.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with the much-awaited update. For my typing's sake, I'm going to give everyone fake names. So, for context, I'll be referring to my mother-in-law as Ruth, father-in-law as Joe. My ex-best friend will be named Jess. Her parents, Angie and Bob. My cheating husband and soon-to-be ex will be Tyler. It suits him. I have a few things I want to get through, so I'll just summarize as best as I can, and if you have any questions, I'll answer in the comments. To get this out of the way, because to me it feels important. Yesterday, I scheduled a same-day appointment with my obstetrician gynecologist and got tested for just about every STD or STI out there. I got the results for most back, and they were all negative. There's a few that take up to 2 weeks to get the results back for, so I'll be waiting on those. When I met with my lawyer, I brought everything on my end, financially wise, including the wills from both my dad and my mom, and I managed to get my hands on his financial documents. He stores his in his office in a locked box. I also brought over everything we had set up financially for our children. While I'm not totally sure if it's everything, I am pretty confident I got most of it. My lawyer was happy I managed to get my hands on that much. Ruth, mother-in-law, even handed over her will to me, from both her and Bob, to ensure I was taken care of in the divorce. My lawyer understands I am wanting a divorce immediately, however. She wants to make sure she is thorough and isn't missing any key info. So hopefully in about 30 days, I'll have actual divorce papers to dump on him. I'm not rushing her, though. I'm letting the professional do her job. Now for the sit-down. As I wasn't there, I asked Angie and Ruth to describe everything, in detail, on what happened. Angie, the revenge seeker that she is, forced them to sit through an actual slideshow she put together of all of the texts. I know a lot of you were concerned about one of them telling them sooner than later, but they were so secretive, they didn't even tell their significant others about what was happening. Once the slideshow ended, Tyler tried lunging for Jess, and Joe actually had to force Tyler to sit back down. Tyler was shouting profanities at Jess and telling her she will regret this. Jess started crying and begging her parents for forgiveness. Bob looked his daughter in the eye and told her he will never forgive her for this. Blood or not, she is no daughter of his. He didn't raise his daughter to be this person. Jess was always a daddy's girl. So I think that cut her pretty deep. Jess is in the middle of a divorce herself, and her parents were giving her money for her lawyer, and they told her she is cut off from them both financially and physically. Tyler's dad was irate. According to Ruth, he looked like he was holding back on throttling him. From there, Tyler went straight home. I know, because we have a Ring doorbell camera, along with a few cameras in the house for our kids, to keep an eye on them when we aren't right next to them. Tyler came home and saw that most of mine and the kids' stuff was gone, and he lost it. Started yelling and throwing things. The house is now trashed, with a few holes in the walls for decoration. When he didn't find us there, he went to my dad's. While I did spend most of the day, he was at work, packing and moving things into my dad's house, we were already at his cabin. Tyler took a baseball bat to my dad's door, trying and failing to break it down. My dad's neighbor actually called the cops on him, and he was arrested. His parents refused to bail him out. I had an appointment with my therapist today. I've had one for a year now since I was struggling with my dad. It felt good to just cry it out and let everything out about how I was feeling. It was very helpful, and she gave me a few tools to work through my emotions with this one. I felt very grounded and empowered leaving my session today. I'm also planning on setting up my children with a therapist when we get back from the cabin, to figure out the best way to deal with telling them. I know people said I shouldn't, but I will be telling them, just in an age-appropriate way. I don't want there to be secrets and lies between us. I've always been as open and honest as I can with them. Again, in the most kid-appropriate way. Just because they're small humans, they're still humans and still deserve the truth. I had a handful of comments telling me I should stay, and every man cheats. I should work things out because most of our marriage was good. Ugh, I refuse to believe all men cheat. My parents were married for 20 years, and after my mom passed, my dad never moved on. I watched my dad love my mom for 12 of those years and cherish her. I will not accept anything less than that kind of love. He never cheated, nor did she. While I'm not sure when I'll be ready to move on, falling in love is the absolute last thing on my mind at the moment. I refuse to let Tyler win and destroy love for me completely. I will move on from this. Back to the aftermath of the sit-down, Jess started blowing up my phone, demanding I fix this situation, and immediately started blaming me. My lawyer told me to not block any texts, just in case they spill out additional info that we could be missing. She was playing the poor me card very hard. The thing is, though, I never influenced Angie and Bob to cut contact with their daughter. They made that choice on their own. She actually started blaming me for stealing the love of her life. I introduced them when Tyler and I started dating, so not sure where that came from. She also said that Tyler is only with me for the kids. Honestly, I knew she was just trying to hurt me at that point. I didn't give her the satisfaction of responding, though. Between her and Tyler, I have about 200 missed calls. Tyler started with begging and pleading me to forgive him. Like I said, I didn't have divorce papers to hand him, so he's stuck in this unknown gray area. I also asked Angie and Ruth to not say anything about the divorce to him yet, purely just for my satisfaction, honestly. I know it's slightly petty, but keeping him in that gray area of not knowing is my small revenge to him. When that didn't work for him, he started threatening to call the cops on me for kidnapping, then telling me Jess wasn't the only one, bingo, just what I was looking for, to telling me I'm a stuck-up bitch, back to threatening me again. Then he switched up to being the victim in all this, while begging me for forgiveness. Honestly, it was just a whiplash reading those texts. I'd be lying and saying if those texts didn't hurt me and terrify me, all at once. But I refuse to let them break me. As for both of them together, I don't think he is going to stay with her. I think he blames her for blowing up our marriage, honestly. Who knows, though? They deserve each other. I was initially okay to do a 50-50 split with Tyler for custody, but after his reaction, I don't feel comfortable with that. So I'll likely be going for full custody. Jake has about 30 days of leave he's saved up, and he's going to be using them to help the kids, and I get settled at my dad's house. And honestly, to be there in case Tyler tries showing up, going crazy again. He's been such a big help to the kids and I lately, and I'm forever in his debt for this. Last night, after the kids went to bed, he hooked up his Xbox, and we played a game called Diablo 4 together to help me take my mind off of things. It was fun. However, he did sort of confess that he's always had feelings for me somewhere in the midst of things, but also told me to not say or do anything back. He understands a relationship or anything like that isn't on my mind and won't be for a while. He isn't wrong. But just that he's felt that way since we were teenagers and just wanted to get it off his chest. That's it for now. Thank you again. Seriously, your comments, your support, your messages, all of it has been one giant breath of fresh air. Just knowing I have a whole online community willing to go to bat for me has kept me treading water these last couple days. Your comments have popped in my head when I felt like just giving up on leaving him because it's so hard with everything going on. The advice given had so many great points and was of tremendous help. I know I deserve more, and I can't accept his actions. And to the people who commented relating to my situation, my heart goes out to you all. This pain is awful, and I hate that so many of you can relate. But your stories have resonated deep within me. You all keep commending me for my strength, and my personal favorite is telling me how proud of me you are. Every time I see those words, I start to tear up. I'm blaming the pregnancy hormones, but your words have helped put me at ease. So that way I could do what I knew I needed to do. So I'll leave this here for now. If anything of importance happens when I go back home, I'll update further. Thank you all, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
I'm sure many of us would like to know, have you told your lawyer that you want to go for full custody? And have you saved those messages Tyler said, with threats toward you and your children? I'm sure you have, since you saved screenshots of messages the first time, but I wish to know. You've handled this really well. You've done all the right things to gather evidence and protect yourself. I'm proud of you. I really wish the best for you and your children.
I forwarded everything to her, as well as telling her he was arrested, and she responded with full custody, and I agreed. Thank you, truly so much.
Although he's very helpful and he seems like a great guy, I don't think Jake was right to tell you about his feelings for you. I can understand wanting to get it off his chest, but it just wasn't the time. You're experiencing one of the biggest betrayals someone can experience. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're not in an emotional state where you can process what he told you. I know he told you not to do anything about it, basically, to act as if you didn't know. But the thing is now you do know. By telling you right now, he's putting another burden on you. He held it for so long, he could have waited for a better time. Beside that, looks like you're doing great. You have an amazing support system. You have your ducks in a row and you seem like a strong person. I do have faith that you'll go through this and grow even stronger, even if it sounds cliche. Leave the bad people that only want to hurt you in your past. Ignore them. As they say, best revenge is living well, have a great life, raise great kids. I know it sounds hard right now, but I believe you'll find your happiness again.
I agree 1,000% that he should have waited a lot longer. Until the divorce went through and maybe until after she's had the baby, etc. But I feel like he could have also been a little overwhelmed himself. I know none of this was about him, and he should have been a stronger person. But he is clearly very involved in all of this. This is his sister causing this situation, and then there's you, OP. The girl who he also was raised right next to. A girl who it sounds like he had deep feelings for. OP trusted him enough to take care of her kids on his own, and to stay with him after all of this. Then, he is now losing his sister as well. If he's not going no contact with his sister, his family is still messed up since his parents planned to with her. While this is not about him, I'm sure he's had all sorts of feelings and emotions swarming his head. I'm sure he overshared without bad intentions, and just didn't piece together that this was a horrible time to bring it up.
I'm not angry with him for telling me his feelings, but I did say that they are on the back burner, since I have so much to deal with right now. He accepted that and agreed. It's what's best. He is going no contact with his sister as well. He's just as angry about this as his parents. I believe he was just caught up in the moment and wanted to speak up. He's also stationed in California for the next 2 years before he's out of the military, so I'll revisit all of this then. For now, I'm letting it be what it is. Hi, everyone. I know a lot of people are still asking for an update. Not much has happened, but here are the things that have happened. Tyler discovered the Reddit posts and asked me if it was true if I was actually seeking a divorce. I said I was. He apologized for losing his cool. He asked if there was any hope for reconciliation. I said no. We did have a conversation about the kids, and he'll be allowed to see them with supervision, to which he agreed to. I had another meeting with my lawyer. Nothing of major importance happened there. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, has happened with Jake. He didn't take back his confession, but as I said, it's on the back burner for a long while. My kids' health and well-being take priority over all else. My dad's health is on a steady decline. He's now in the hospital, with no release date in the immediate future. Oh, please send over thoughts and well wishes his way. My kids are adjusting well. We have a therapy appointment for them scheduled next week to help them. My oldest has more questions than the rest, but I'm trying to save any big conversations for the therapy appointment. So I know I'm conveying the answers in a meaningful and the least harmful way. Also, my oldest made tryouts for the traveling soccer league. Oh, and the baby is doing great. Things have calmed down a lot, truly. I feel like I have a better grip on things. I've been putting most of my focus on my dad and kids to keep myself busy. Thanks, you friends, for the love, support, and for checking in. Hey everyone, I'm still getting daily messages and comments for an update, so here is what could possibly be my final one. My dad passed away, about a week after my last update. I knew it was coming, but it still feels like a gut punch. Thank you for everyone who kept him in your thoughts, truly. My marriage has officially ended. Once Tyler discovered just how serious I was about leaving him, he became compliant and was willing to give me everything I asked for in the divorce. So my lawyer opted for a dissolution versus divorce. The process is a lot quicker and went smoothly. As of right now, I have full custody, while he works out his anger management and whatnot with therapy. I'm not sure if I'll ever trust him again with the kids, but I'm also in therapy, as well are my kids. I'm not making any decisions at all right now when it comes to that. He gets supervised visits at a facility where there is an army of staff and security, and someone is there at all times. That's once a week, and he does get video calls twice a week. The kids are adjusting pretty well. There are days when I think it affects them more, but they've suffered some big losses, so it's to be expected. I did decide to give the baby my dad's first name, though. It just felt right. The baby is doing so very well and is thriving, despite the amount of stress I've had going on. I'm managing as best as I can with everything going on. I miss my dad like crazy, and I'm still trying to figure out how to exist in a world where he doesn't. The grief still is so very heavy. I'm still mourning my marriage as well. I don't regret leaving him, but it still hurts me deeply. However, I'm picking up the pieces and making my life whole without him. My mother-in-law, Ruth, well, ex-mother-in-law now, I guess, still feels a bit weird, and Angie help me out so much. They've really allowed me to lean on them in these moments. Whether it be taking the kids for a little while or cooking dinner for us when I don't have the energy. I truly am so lucky to have them. And finally, to what you all have been waiting to hear about, Jake. Jake is now back in California. He tried extending his leave, but the military rejected his request. It was truly wonderful having him there and helping me. In the first few days after my dad's passing, he picked up so much slack for me that I will never be able to repay him for it. He is so patient and kind. That being said, nothing has happened between us. Though he did hold me while I broke down after the kids went to bed, quite a few times, but that's the extent of it. No kissing or anything like that. He does call me and text me multiple times a day. Right now, I just don't have any room in my life for romance. I have so much grief, and the weight of being a single mom has been heavy. He hasn't pushed me on it either. He let me know that he meant every word he said and that he's willing to just be my friend. Until I decide I want more, if I ever decide I want more, with him. I wish I could be the girl that jumps in with both feet, but the betrayal from my ex is still fresh, and I'm worried I would burn anything out before it started. So I asked for friends and time to process everything else in my life, before I even consider processing a new relationship. He happily agreed. Oh, and Tyler and Jess are not a couple. Most of you were right. He left her high and dry. Though I don't wish misery on anyone, I'd be lying if I didn't say I get the smallest amount of satisfaction, that her life went up in smoke. Her family wasn't just emotionally yelling in the moment. They actually went through with shunning her. She's been blacklisted from her family. And I know a lot of you said it's weird that her parents did that, but if you guys knew just how deep my bond went with that family, it wouldn't seem weird at all. Angie is like my surrogate mom. She gave me the safe sex talk, the period talk. She listened to me cry about the boys who broke my heart. She held my hand while I delivered my kids. When she talks about me, she calls me her daughter. She knew my mom for practically her whole life. She held my mom's hand when she delivered me. And if anything had happened to both of my parents, she is who I would have gone to live with. My parents had that in their will. So with all of that being said, please just be kind to me in the comments. I put this off for a few days because of how hostile some people were, and the prospect of being called a liar doesn't sound too appealing at the moment. Again, I can't thank you for the amount of light and love I've received from you. I promise I read every comment and message. I just haven't had the capacity to respond. You have really helped brighten my days with all of your words of encouragement. I appreciate you all. I am so lucky to have an army of internet friends. You guys are the best. This is it. For now, I probably won't post anything else for a while. I'm still trying to find my footing, and I'm trying to get settled in a new routine before I bring a brand new baby in the world. I may come back to this, but I may not. Though I do promise I'll update if anything happens with Jake and I. I know so many of you became personally invested. Please excuse any typos. Pregnancy insomnia is kicking my ass right now.
Miss, you are a strong woman, fiercely loving mother, and a true daughter to your surrogate mom and your ex-mother-in-law. They are sticking by you because of your character, your kindness, and you are worthy of their love and support. You are trying to adjust to your new normal, and taking it day by day, hour by hour is okay. I am sorry for your loss. Your dad and mom will still live on when you all share your memories with your children. I am sending you huge internet hugs and wishing you peace and positivity. And eventually, if you and Jake decide to become more than friends, I think he will be a keeper. He has supported you at your lowest and continues to help you build your life back up. He is respectful. He knows how amazing you are since he's been friends with you since birth. So I think he would definitely know how to treat you right and love only you, as you deserve. I'm happy to hear the baby is healthy and your kiddos are safe and adjusting.
I just heard your story and had to come find you on Reddit. I'm almost in tears typing this on my phone because of what you have gone through. I am truly so sorry about your dad. Your description of him makes me treasure him for you, and I am sorry he has finally lost his battle. I won't mention any silver linings, because I am sure you have thought of those already. My ex and I were together for just 3.5 years and had one child together when he cheated on me with a friend of ours. Ironically enough, he slept with her when I went to my brother's funeral. I ended up taking my daughter, and he refused to accompany me. Hindsight, right? But our relationship was basically on the rocks the entire time, and that lack of support was my bedfellow. The fact that you were able to weather all of this so well speaks volumes about who you are as a human. I just want you to remember that you are so important, and you need to keep treating yourself as such. I have let my health go for quite a long time, and am just now trying to get myself in a better position. For the past 11 years, which is how long it has been since I left him, I have celebrated the day I chose my own happiness. You deserve the world, and fuck anyone who says otherwise. Good luck to you.
Your story has touched me. I am so sorry for your loss. Losing a sibling is something I couldn't ever imagine going through. Then to top it off with cheating on you, on the day of his funeral. The grief you have gone through must have been unimaginable, and I'm so happy that you came out on the other side of that. Thank you for the advice and kind words, truly.
You're so strong. Did Jess try to reach out or anything? I'm glad you have a great support system and you'll work through this and become even stronger. Please keep us updated about Jake and how your delivery went. Stay safe, and I wish you all the best. Are your baby and kids okay?
She tried showing up to my dad's funeral. I allowed her to stay so long as she didn't come near me. My dad was a big part of her life as well. I didn't want to take away her right to grieve and say goodbye. She tried approaching me, like we were still good friends, but I just walked away from her. She also tried apologizing to me for everything, but I told her to save her breath because everything she was saying was falling on deaf ears, and I didn't care to hear it. I haven't heard from her since. We're all doing our very best, Baby is healthy and still growing. The kids are naturally a bit of in a state of distress, but we're working through it, and I'm doing everything I possibly can to help them through it. They're mostly okay, though. I am managing everything and allowing myself some grace. I'm very lucky to have a village that allows me to lean on them in my times of need. I'm still hurt by everything, but with every day I'm learning the art of letting go.
You give me hope. I lost my dad suddenly 6 months ago, and I feel like it's torn everything from me. I'm barely digging myself through this, and yet you've been through so much more. You're still here. You're doing the right things.
I am so deeply sorry for your loss. There is no timeline or correct navigational path for grief. Sometimes it swallows you whole, and you just have to embrace that in the moment. What really drives me is knowing my dad wouldn't want me to waste away with my grief. So every day I write a small to-do list, even if it's just brush my teeth and hair and eat at least one meal. I'm confident your dad would want the same for you. You got this. I have faith. Just remember how much he loved you and how he'd want you to continue on. I'm proud of you for making it this far, friend.
This is such low-hanging fruit, but did you ever find out if he was just trying to hurt you when he said Jess wasn't the only one, or if that was true?
There was one other before Jess, before we discovered my dad's illness. She wasn't as serious, I guess, as Jess. She was interning at his company for a few months, and at the end of her internship, they hooked up. In his exact words, only enough times to count on one hand. She actually didn't know he was married. Once she discovered, she cut him off and tried to contact me, but I guess I received the message when I was asleep, and he saw it and blocked her on everything so she couldn't contact me again. I found her and had a conversation with her about it. I have no harsh feelings towards her at all. She was a stranger and truly had no clue. Even if she did know, she owed me no loyalty. But I believed her when she told me she didn't know. She shared some personal details along with screenshots of her and Tyler's texts, where he clearly stated he was single. Poor girl was just a victim of his lies. Just wanted to come back for a small update. The baby is here. He was born slightly premature, but no extra stay was needed. He was 5 pounds, 9 ounces, and absolutely beautiful. Angie was in the room with me when I had him, while Ruth stayed with the other littles. My older two are obsessed with their baby brother, and it makes my heart happy. Ruth and Angie are taking turns spending the night and days with me for the first 6 weeks, until we get acclimated. I told them they didn't have to, but they insisted. Honestly, I'm grateful for it. I can feel the waves of PPD trying to drag me under, and my mental health really hasn't been doing so good. Don't worry, my therapist knows, and we're working through it. Knowing that this baby never gets to know and feel the love of my dad has really been hurting, and the fact that this is the only grandbaby he didn't get to meet. I miss him like crazy and wish he was still here. Jake was planning on staying in for another 2 years to retire, but they offered him early retirement. Not because anything going on with me or this whole situation. There was a situation at work. He didn't do anything wrong either. So within the next 6 months, he'll be moving back home. He's going to try house hunting and find a place before he comes home. But since he isn't allowed to take any leave during this time to view places, since he has to work on his exit stuff, there's a chance he'll be temporarily living with me. Until he finds a place. No, he isn't moving in permanently. He might even just get an apartment for a year and then buy a house. There's also some drama with Tyler already, because he's pissed. I wouldn't let him in the room when I had our baby. So if you want any more updates on that front, I'll provide when I'm not overwhelmed. Love you all. Thank you all for being my ear when I need to vent and get everything off my chest. I hope all of your days are wonderful today. and everything goes your way. Until next time, friends. Hey everyone! I can't believe it's been almost 2 months since I last updated you all. I've missed chatting, but life has been keeping me very busy. I will address specific questions first, starting with,
does Tyler's parents still talk to him?
no. My mother-in-law Ruth cut him off almost instantly and went no contact. Father-in-law Joe is very low contact and only speaking with him when he takes the kids to their supervised visits to see him.
Did Tyler cheat on you with more than just Jess?
To my knowledge, there was only one other girl, which if you click on my comments and scroll a little, you'll see me briefly explain the situation. If there are any more than that, it's not to my knowledge, and I honestly think I'd prefer to not know.
Aren't you concerned about Jake and Jess being in contact with one another? Still? They are siblings after all.
Jake and Jess never had a good relationship. They were very low contact before any of this came out. They never got along as kids, and the relationship never changed as they got older. Looking back on it, it was a major red flag, how she treated him. They only ever spoke as adults on family functions, and even that was brief and only surface-level conversations.
What are you telling your children? You should let them process how they need to.
The only one who is old enough to semi-understand what's happening is my oldest. I sat both of them down and simply said, Mommy and Daddy aren't together anymore. Daddy did some things that I wasn't okay with. That means Daddy won't live with us anymore, but you can still see him, spend time with him, and love him with all of your heart. It might be a little confusing, and that's okay, but it's important to know that we both love you guys so much, and that will never change. Then asked if they wanted to talk about it at all, or if they had any questions about the situation. My oldest had a few, and I answered in an honest, but age-appropriate and gentle manner. They are still in therapy. They come to me if they want to talk about it, but if not, I don't push it on them. My goal in this has never been to weaponize and poison the kids against him, and it's something I will never do. He's their dad, and I refuse to traumatize them any more than they have been.
Do you have a Venmo, registry, P.O. Box, PayPal or something? I want to support.
I am warmed by your thoughtfulness and kindness. However, I cannot accept any of it. You are truly beautiful humans for being so willing to help me. However, I ask that you give those donations to your local shelters. I have a rather large inheritance and an amazing support system, but if I wasn't so fortunate, I could have very well been one of the girls who had to take refuge at a shelter. I've been making donations to shelters near me, and my kids and I have been volunteering at a few. On to the update. So if you read any of my previous comments, you know that baby boy is here. He's honestly been the calmest newborn that I've ever managed. Hardly cries, is very content and happy all the time. He's been reaching all of his milestone markers, even hitting the ones that aren't on the preemie scale. It's been such a relief and a blessing. The older two completely adore him and are, of course, eating up the extra attention they get from their grandparents. Oh yes, Angie and her husband are called Grandma and Grandpa as well. When I went into labor, I had told Tyler that I was in labor, but I didn't want him at the hospital. It is his kid, so I was being courteous. He blew up on me for taking away his right to see his child be brought into the world. I simply turned off my phone to relax and de-stress. He actually showed up at the hospital and had to be escorted off the property by security. Not for being violent or anything, he just wouldn't leave after I had told the nurses. I delivered at the hospital I work at. I'm an RN. Oh, I didn't want him around. After that, he hasn't been to a single visit to see the kids. I initially sent him pictures of the baby and updates, but he never responded, and eventually blocked my number. After roughly a month, I asked my father-in-law, Joe, to reach out to him, since no one had heard from him. Joe actually showed up at Tyler's house to do a well check, since I was concerned something was wrong. Even though I don't love him anymore, there is a piece of me that will always care for him as the father of my children. Turns out he has a new girlfriend and isn't interested in being a dad anymore. He actually even denied paternity, even though he's the only person I've ever been with physically. The kids are honestly and surprisingly okay with him not really being around. No, I didn't feel it necessary to tell them the harsh things he said. Jake has been completely amazing. He had my favorite food delivered to me at the hospital post-birth, FaceTiming me and texting me regularly, chatting it up with the kids, hasn't been pushy on me at all. Has let me set the pace completely, hasn't crossed any of my boundaries in the slightest. He actually booked me a surprise postnatal massage and arranged all of it, including childcare. It was the most relaxed I've felt in months. He sends little gifts and food to the house occasionally, especially on my hard days. Jake has truly been a breath of fresh air. He comes home in just over 3 months, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited. As for me, I've still been regularly attending therapy. It's really helped me cope and just in general become a better person and mother. I'm still devastated by my dad's passing, and grief really loves to put a chokehold on me when I least expect it. Sometimes I just go sit in his office where it smells the most like him and cry. I was very blessed to have such a loving and amazing dad. Angie and Ruth have been my angels on earth. I cannot express how beyond lucky I am to have this amazing support system. Even Joe and Angie's husband have been insanely supportive and kind. I would be lost without their unconditional love and support. As crazy as it sounds, I'm honestly unbothered by the divorce and Tyler not being around anymore. I think I'm more relieved than anything. My heart aches for my children. But I don't know. I don't think I truly realized how long I was holding my breath and walking on eggshells in that marriage, until I was in a space where I didn't have to anymore. My therapist and I really dug deep and took off the rose-colored glasses. In a weird yet awful way, I'm almost thankful I caught him cheating. I think that's why I was so calm and methodical during the leaving him phase. I go back to work next week. I think I'm ready to find my new normal and get back into a routine. While my heart aches, my dad isn't around to see it. I'm ready to unlock this next chapter of my life. Cheers to the chapter of healing, self-love, new beginnings, and finding peace within the chaos. Thank you for going through this journey with me, supporting me, sharing your stories with me, and just being here. Love you all, internet friends. I hope you have an amazing day. I'll update again when I can.
I am very happy to hear that you have such a strong support system, and that things are seemingly going well for you. I was even more impressed that you help out and donate to shelters nearby. To me, you truly seem like a genuinely nice and caring person. In the first post, you spoke very highly of your husband, and how he behaved during your pregnancy, and during the time your father was sick. I wanted to ask you whether there were things or signs that you can recognize now, in hindsight, more clearly. You've mentioned that you talked to your therapist about that. I imagine she has helped you recognize some of these things. Would you be willing to share those signs? I would be really interested in seeing what type of behavior one has to look out for, in order to find out if one is being manipulated.
One thing about manipulators is they almost never start big. It always starts small, a few comments here and there. They almost sound like suggestions or will mask them as concerns, and will gradually manipulate you into thinking, you are the wrong one, or you are the one at fault. I don't have many words of advice, but I will say this. Not all actions are red flag or green flag behavior. It almost always starts right in that in-between, and by the time they're full on displaying red flags, you're already so deep into the manipulation you can hardly tell left from right. So if someone is displaying too many behaviors that's iffy, is ignoring your boundaries because they just care about you too much, or they're starting to fall for you, run. Love bombing is usually how they get you. You can tell when someone is love bombing by simply saying, "Hey, this is moving too fast. Can we take a step back and just start slow?" Usually you can gauge from there based off of how they react, per my therapist. Make sure to actually follow up on the going slowly. If they get agitated about it moving slow, that's how you know. They usually tell lies about things, big or small, so try to fact-check everything you can if at all possible. My ex-husband loved to play the "you just don't know what real love feels like because you've never been in a healthy relationship before me" card whenever I'd raise concerns. Or he'd get affectionate and say, "You're just overthinking it, sweetie. Don't read too much into surface-level things." If they just brush off your concerns and don't take them seriously, or apologize and promise to change, but don't make any real moves to actually change, get out of the relationship. They will also try to flip it on you if you have anything concrete on them, make you seem crazy or like it's all your fault. They will never change, nor will they take your concerns seriously. And lastly, just trust your gut. If something feels off, it's because it most likely is. The warning signs are almost always there if you look for them.
Hello, OP. I know it's been 2 months now, but I'm new to your updates and story. You mentioned this gut feeling someone can experience with a deceiving or manipulative husband or wife. Have you felt that bad gut feeling before? With your husband?
I did. I chose to ignore it anyways, because I thought he was too amazing. I believed his words instead of myself. I hope this helps you.
Saw your story on YouTube and had been waiting for updates ever since. I really admire you. Being heavily pregnant and faced this situation, I don't even know what you could have done better. You've really taken all the right steps, including taking care of your kids' mental health. Hope you'll update if something will happen between you and Jake. Do you have any news about Jess?
No one has been in contact with Jess for a few months now. She has tried to reach out to me to reconcile and push off any accountability, and blames Tyler for everything. I haven't responded to a single message. She downloads texting apps to contact me since I have her number blocked. I did hear through the grapevine that her divorce proceedings didn't go her way since her ex-husband had proof of multiple affairs. She's been dragging out her divorce for a while and was separated already when her affair with Tyler started. Oh, and no, I'm not the friend you can tell you're cheating on someone with, because I will snitch, and she knew that. Knowing what I know now, I'm not surprised by it, though. He isn't really a good person either, so I'm not applauding the ex-husband for this, but the karma is bittersweet, and I'll take it as bonus, schadenfreude.
Thanks for the update. I often think of you. Regarding your therapy sessions, I went back to your first post. This is the kind and gentle man who doted on you and your kids, and was so supportive of your grief at your dad's prognosis. Yet now you realize you were walking on eggshells the whole time. You are well rid of a man who has abandoned his children, and not even met his youngest child yet. I think the most upsetting thing in this post is that you're back to work already with the brutal US system. So glad you have a wonderful boss and a satisfying job, as well as such wonderful grandparent support. Your dear dad is irreplaceable, but he has wonderful friends who have rallied around you.
My therapist and I really dug into this, and she truly believes it's a manipulation tactic to try to guilt me into reconciling. She thinks his thought process is, if he hurts the kids enough, it'll dissolve my resolve, and get back together with him, for the sake of the children. I do wish I had more time to stay at home with the kids, and I agree the real tragedy is America's healthcare system. However, I do welcome the distraction of keeping busy. My boss is wonderful and has been holding my position for me for a while now, despite not having to and could have easily hired someone else. I'll be welcomed back with all of my seniority still intact, even though I quit months ago. And I'm so very grateful for that.
If he's trying to manipulate you with not seeing the kids, you could ask him to sign off his parental rights but to pay the child support. If he agrees, then he is being serious.
Unfortunately, where I live, you can't just sign off your parental rights, unless you have like a stepmom or stepdad willing to adopt the children. They can't just sign off their rights without putting someone else in their place. If I could do this, I absolutely would. But if you mean signing off on visitation rights, I would be willing to try this.
Wondering how Jake is doing. I'm following your story, and damn, this Jake guy really cares about you. A great friend who's silently hoping for more, and I'm here for the tea.
Jake is still in California until January the 8th. That's when he's officially home. Not too much has happened since then, just day-to-day life stuff. We're still in regular contact. He is going to be renting a house about 10 minutes away from me. Not too much to update on about him until he comes home.
Royal AI.
Merry Christmas, everyone, or whatever you celebrate. May you have an absolute wonderful holiday today. Jake woke me up this morning with my kids shouting, "Santa came and brought Uncle Jake with him. He's home for good, and I'm over the moon with happiness." May you all have a blessed and wonderful day. Love you, friends.
I'm so happy Jake made it home for Christmas. I bet your kids were so excited. Had Tyler seen or spoken to the kids? I remember in one of your posts or comments that Tyler stopped showing up to visitations, so I was wondering how the kids were doing in that regard. It breaks my heart that a parent can just abandon their kids because the other parent is done with them. I will never understand that. Anyways, I hope you had a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I have a feeling 2024 will be the best one yet.
Tyler has my number and all of my social media blocked. His new girlfriend thinks I want him, despite me never have meeting her in person, and only texting him about the kids. If he'd stray the conversation away from them, I'd redirect back to the kids, or simply ignore his text. His dad has reached out to him and offered to be the middleman for communication, so he isn't completely abandoning his children. But that isn't good enough, I guess. He's still bitter that they spend time with me and the kids, and thinks since we're divorced, his parents should have cut all ties with me, but his parents refuse to do so. His mom still won't talk to him. His dad only talks to him to try to get him to see the kids, but he won't bite. Tyler hasn't seen the kids since Halloween, or beginning of November, I believe. I'd have to double-check my texts to fact-check that, but it was around that time. No phone calls to anyone to ask how they're doing or anything. Though he did shoot Jake a message on Facebook or some social media platform. In the message, Tyler said that Jake will never be their dad and I'll always be used goods, which I thought was comical. The kids have stopped asking about him truthfully. I don't push the topic on them either, but always let them know if they have any questions or want to talk about it. I'm always here. I don't prod or poke in their therapy sessions, but I expressed concern to their therapist about how they never talk about him disappearing because, especially my oldest. I didn't want them bottling up those emotions. All she said was, they have good conversations about their feelings about their dad, and that's all I wanted to know. Just to know that they're talking to someone about it. They did have an amazing Christmas. I allowed myself to really spoil them just this once with everything they wanted, and then some. A little bit of that mom guilt eating at me, unfortunately. But they had a genuinely good day. Jake really stepped up for them today, too. Of course, Angie and her husband, Ruth and Joe, were at the house today, too. It felt nice. I hope you had a great day today as well. Thank you for thinking of me and bothering to comment.
At least Jake knows how to be a man, unlike Tyler, who decided to be bitter towards you and just wants to hurt you. Let him be. He's going to remember this when his children get older, and he would want to come back into their lives. They're not going to let him in. He had his chance, and he blew it. I'm so glad that your in-laws are there for you and the kids.
You just said what I was going to. Yes, Tyler will regret his choices eventually, and by then, it will be too late. One thing Tyler is wrong about. It is him telling Jake he will never be the kid's dad. Well, sorry, Tyler, but Jake already stepped up. Anyone can be a father, but it takes a real man to be a dad.
So right. Rather they are biological than non-biological. Any man can be a father. The audacity of the whorish man to call OP used goods.
OP, have you considered going back to court and terminating Tyler's parental rights? If he wants nothing to do with the kids, it might be better for them to cut him off completely. That way, there's no bouncing in and out of their lives whenever he's in a mood. I love the updates and hope you get all the love and support you need as you continue to move forward.
As much as I would absolutely love to do that, I can't terminate his rights without putting someone else on the hook for the kids. Like, say I married Jake, I would have to terminate Tyler's rights, while simultaneously having Jake adopt them. That's how it works where I live, unfortunately. I am the primary parent and do have full custody of them, but he does still have his visitation rights to see them. Hey friends, I come bearing some much anticipated news, but I'm going to breeze over a few things other people wanted to know before we get into the Jake update. A lot of people are wondering if Tyler is, still to this day, not seeing the kids. He isn't. He no longer responds to his dad, who was trying to be the middleman, so he didn't have to communicate with me. He told his dad that his girlfriend made him choose, and he's choosing her. He's choosing her, because I wouldn't go through her to communicate with him. Make it make sense? Mind you, I don't even know who she is. I don't even know her first name. That's how much I don't know about her. I told him if he wanted to use a third party to communicate about the kids, I would be completely okay with that. But not someone who is a stranger to me or the kids. We could use his aunt, who has remained neutral during the divorce and all of this. It wasn't good enough for him, or her, I guess. So he decided to cut all contact. He didn't see the kids for Christmas or New Year. Shortly after the New Year is when he went full no contact. I'm managing the kids and working full-time as best as I can. I'm so grateful for all of the help I have. My Ruth and Angie take turns watching the kids while I work, as they're both retired. More often than not, I come home to a clean house, happy kids, and dinner on the stove. They truly are the biggest blessings. I'm giving a huge shout out to the single parents who do this completely on their own with no help from outsiders, or the other parent, because I cannot fathom how much strength you've had to muster to do it alone. I've had quite a few people ask me if I'm religious. The answer is yes. I am a religious person. However, I will not now, nor ever judge anyone for who they are. Yes, that includes all. Just do you. The people who were born in the wrong body. No one should ever be able to tell you who you are or who you love is wrong. I support and love everyone in all walks of life. Your religion or non-religion matters, even if it's not the same one I follow. Hell, I have friends who practice witchcraft, and I love that they're so passionate about it, and it makes them happy. The people who are taking away rights of anyone in the name of religion make me absolutely disgusted. I feel like I needed that disclaimer to be added because I don't want anyone to rope me into that category. I will also not be entertaining any religious debates. Argue with your mother, not me. Finally, on to Jake. We're dating, currently. I use the air quotes because we've been going on dates and spending time together, but aren't officially boyfriend and girlfriend, if that makes sense. He did kiss me for the first time at midnight, on New Year's. Cheesy? Yes, did I still love it? Absolutely. I'm not ready to offer anything more right now. We have the occasional date night out, but a lot of our dates include things with the kids, like movie nights, going to the park, or spending time at the house playing with them. The kids adore him, and he adores them right back. I have quite a few pictures of him holding the baby, trying to soothe him to sleep, and he winds up accidentally napping with the baby. He's allowing me to completely set the pace. He's patient with me at all times. I honestly feel so lucky. I told Jake if he wanted to date other people he could, and he looked at me like I had slapped him and was adamant I would be the only woman he'd pursue. Sometimes I feel guilty that he's healing a heart he didn't break, but he never hesitates to remind me that he's in this completely and will wait forever if he has to. I waited so long to share this because I wanted his stamp of approval to continue to share what is quickly evolving into our love story. I allowed him to read my posts and everyone's comments. He might have gotten a little bit of a big head with how much everyone is Team Jake. He pokes fun at me for it, and I love it, honestly. This man is so funny without ever being mean. He even said, "It's a breath of relief to know your internet family approves of me." He did create a Reddit account to look at my posts, with my approval. He'll likely mostly be a silent follower. But don't be surprised if he pops up in the comments occasionally. I hope everyone has an amazing day. We'll talk soon.
Please tell me Tyler is at the very least paying child support to care for the kiddos. How are they handling not having Tyler around?
He wasn't initially, but I spoke with a family lawyer right after the holidays, and they said one of the best ways to get full custody and terminate parental rights is to put him on child support. If he doesn't pay for it and doesn't ask about the kids, or isn't contacted about the kids for a full year, it'll be labeled as abandonment, and therefore, after I go to court to pursue those charges, he wouldn't be able to just pop up one day and decide he wants to take me to court for full custody. One day when he decides he's ready to play Father of the Year. However, after 90 days, we can get the paperwork rolling to start the process of abandonment and whatnot. The lawyer explained it better than I'm able to, obviously, but it was something along those lines. I highly doubt he'll pay it, though. He found out about my inheritance from my mom and my dad through the dissolution, and he seemed pissed that I had all of this money, and he wasn't getting any of it. If he does pay, it'll be going straight into a savings account for the kids, and they'll have access to it when they become an adult. The kids seem fine. They're still in therapy, and I'll continue to take them until they tell me they feel like they no longer need it. And if the therapist feels the same, then I'll no longer take them. They don't really ask about him much at all. They did ask on Christmas if they'd be seeing him, but when I gently told them he wasn't coming, they seemed unaffected. Haven't asked about him since. So much so that I've been feeling like maybe he wasn't as good to them when I wasn't around or when I had my back turned, because they have just accepted it and seem genuinely okay with it.
Did Tyler register the baby at the registry office? Any more updates on Jess? Sorry for the questions, I'm curious.
So, where I'm from, if the baby was created. During the marriage, whether you're still married or not, the husband or ex-husband is automatically put on the birth certificate, whether or not he is the father. He'd have to jump through legal hoops to get his name taken off, and that could only be done through DNA and whatnot. So he is on the baby's birth certificate. As for Jess, I haven't seen her or spoken to her since my father's funeral. She still occasionally shoots me a text from a texting app trying to talk, but I always block and delete. Angie told me Jess is actually having an affair with another married man, and whatever ties were left, those family members also disowned her. Actually wrote her out of their will, except for $1. Left the rest to Jake and my kids. The wife of her affair partner reached out to Angie to show her what kind of daughter she has and basically aired out all of Jess's dirty laundry on social media. They hadn't been speaking to her up until that point, and there was no contact. But after the wife reached out to Angie, they silently removed her from everything.
I am going through a similar situation, and you give me hope and the strength to leave.
You are worthy of a love so deep and true that they'd never want to be with anyone but you. And if you have kids, you want them to be raised in a home of love. That's what drove me. Staying together for the kids never really works out because you're modeling that type of relationship for them. And I know I would never want any of my kids to be in that position. Hold your head high and know your worth because you are so worthy. It's okay to cry and hurt, to feel it deeply. The betrayal does still sting, and it probably will for a while, but you deserve unconditional love and happiness. You won't find that with someone who stepped out on you and betrayed you so deep. You got this. I have faith in you.
Thank you for the update. Not to give Jake even a bigger head, but he seems to be a smart man who knows what his endgame is and is willing to be patient. I am so sad to hear that your ex has basically thrown away his children in this process, and I know one day he will wake up and realize what the heck he did. I'm guessing this is who he was this whole time, and now everyone is onto him, so he gets to be what he is in the open. What he does not get is that Jake has bonded with his baby and his children, and he is forever losing out on these moments with his biological children. I don't recall from earlier posts if he was a good or present father, but his actions tell me he was not. He might move on and have his second family, but he will be the man who threw his family away forever. I feel so sad for his parents, as I'm sure there must be a deep shame as to what their son has done to his family, the zero honor weasel dog that he is. But he is in your rear-view mirror, and I'm guessing soon enough, you can have sole custody and have him out of your life. Come back and update us again, and would love to hear from Jake too.
Don't worry, my head is already ballooning out.
Is this the Jake? Well, you know Reddit is swooning for you. Glad to hear from you, as you appear to be a good man who knows what he wants. Stay the course for the reward. Take care of our girl and the young ones. Oh, and Jake, we're watching you.
They'll all be taken care of, for however long she wants me around.
Now I'm going to spend all day wondering if someone just made a fake profile with that name just to mess with me.
It's him. Don't worry. We're drinking our morning coffee together, and he decided to be a goofball and make his Reddit account. And say hi.
To be honest, there is a good chance that Tyler has seen all your Reddit posts already, and he is keeping an eye on all of your future updates on your kids, their lives, etc., even if he has gone no contact.
Tyler would be absolutely raging pissed off if he knew I had been continually posting on Reddit about this, and would make it known he knew, 1,000%. The only social media he uses is Facebook, and by uses, it's a very loose term of maybe logging on once a year. He isn't methodical enough to try to use it against me, but even so, if he knew what I was heading towards, he hasn't tried to change anything about his contact with the kids at all. Plus, all of the hype around my posts has really doubled down, if he didn't care much about it. During my initial few posts, I doubt he ever will. But if he does, what is he going to do? Go to a lawyer and say there's an anonymous account that could maybe or possibly be my ex-wife, and she's sharing her story. If he wanted to be painted in a better light, he should have behaved accordingly.
Wait, I'm sorry for jumping in on this, but in one of your first updates, many months ago, it said that Tyler has discovered one of your posts and asked if you're going to file for divorce. I guess I'm just wondering if he's aware, on some level, that your story is available to read online, because he learned about one of your posts in the past.
Hi, I'm Jake. Yes, the Jake in OP's life. Answering this one for her because I already know the answer. Jess found the Reddit post and recognized it being about her and us. Then she thought she could use it to her advantage. Jess was feeding Tyler information from the Reddit posts and screenshotting them. She wanted him to pick her so bad that she thought handing information about OP to him on a silver platter would work in her favor. Tyler told Jess to piss off and blocked her. She went sobbing to our mom, and our mom basically said, "Well, what did you expect?" But Jess got permabanned from Reddit from her old comments to OP. I don't think she cares enough to look anymore, since stalking OP isn't serving her anymore, and she can't use it to make Tyler choose her. Important message to everyone. OP is hacked. We're trying to get her account back. We will update soon and try to check if any damage was done. Watch out for any strange things.
Hey guys, can you believe that in less than 2 weeks, it's been a year since I made my first post on Reddit, the morning I discovered my ex-husband's affair. Now on to the updates. The Jake update will be at the end of the post, if you want to skip to read that first. I know y'all are feral for it. First things first, I meant to update sooner, but if you saw Jake's comment, you know I was locked out of my account. Well, someone changed the password to my Reddit account, and then the email to it as well. You'll never guess who it was. If you guessed Tyler, you'd be wrong. It was Jess. Let's rewind about a month ago. I'm cooking dinner for Jake and the kids, while Jake is playing in the backyard with the kids. My front door opens, and I figured it was one of my in-laws. They don't usually drop by unexpectedly, but Angie and Ruth both have a key to my house. Since they help me out so much, it's just easier that way. Imagine my surprise when I'm chopping up carrots to see Jess waltz into my kitchen. I simply pointed the knife at the door and told her to get the hell out of my house. Before I called the cops and pressed charges for breaking and entering and trespassing. I wasn't concerned with how she got into my house. I keep my doors locked 24/7, call it paranoia if you will. I just wanted her out and would figure the rest out later. She started screaming bloody murder and was calling me psycho for threatening her with a knife. Jake heard the screams and rushed inside. His immediate response was to restrain Jess because he thought she was hurting me, even though there was a solid 10-15 feet between us. He dragged her out of the house and told her to leave. She was screaming that she would ruin my life, and all she was coming over to do was ask for forgiveness. Well, she called the cops on us and made up this elaborate story about how we lured her to my house to set her up, how I tried to stab her and Jake was punching her repeatedly. She had zero proof, and I have cameras hitting every angle of the outside of my house and in all of the main rooms in the inside of my house. Naturally, I just pulled up the footage and showed the cops, and they left, taking her with them. Jake has spent the night at my house every night since then. Since then, she has hacked into my social media accounts, including Reddit. She posted some truly awful and hateful things on my Facebook and Instagram. I'm thankful she didn't manage to post anything on Reddit before I got it back. She spammed my job. I'm a nurse at our local hospital with complaints and some truly awful fabricated stories about me. After a week of suspension to investigate, I was welcomed back. After everything I told my boss and my boss's boss, HR, and everyone else above me proved to be true. I filed for a restraining order against her, also including my children after she tried to pick up my oldest from her school, without anyone's knowledge. Thankfully, I already had a talk with the school about this and gave them a strict, only these people can pick up my child. Everyone else you send away, call the cops or whatever you need to do. This was back when Tyler got violent in front of the kids a while back. So when Jess came to pick up my child, they called me, while another teacher escorted her off the school grounds. They said Jess kept going on about how it was okay for her to pick up my child. Then, outside, while the teacher was de-escalating the tension by explaining to Jess that it could all be a misunderstanding and to wait for me to arrive. She dropped the act, simply turned, and casually walked to her car and drove off. The teachers noticed she was looking unhinged. They kept my oldest close by for pickup until they saw me. Right now, I got an emergency order approved, but will have to go to court for a more permanent one, within the next month. This is getting dangerously out of hand, so I will let you know how that goes. The Tyler update is that there is none. He still hasn't reached out to see his kids, hasn't asked about them. He's been a ghost. We were eating dinner with Jake about a week ago, when my oldest quietly said she wished Jake was her dad and that her real dad never played with them, and was really mean when I wasn't home or looking. Which really just confirmed my fears. They were too accepting of him being gone. And now I know why. I did learn through the grapevine, Ruth and Joe, the in-laws, that he is already remarried and has another kid on the way. Ruth told me they received a baby shower and wedding invite in the mail. Honestly, I feel bad for the new wife. The kids are truly just wonderful. Still in therapy, but the therapist has nothing but positive things to say after their sessions. She did mention that my oldest brought up calling Jake dad, but I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I'm ready for that. Jake has made it clear that once, yes, he said once, not if, but once, we're married. He fully intends to adopt the kids. But that is another conversation for another day. I don't want to deter her from having a bond with him, but it still feels too soon, you know? My middle child seems to have forgotten Tyler completely, and is my usual ray of sunshine. I've seriously never met a happier kid. The baby is babbling away, smiling and laughing now. Can y'all believe it? I'm truly blessed with such wonderful kids. Jake. Well, Jake is Jake. You know how that goes. No, seriously, I have never felt such happiness before. He was genuinely concerned at how many people were commenting, asking if we were still together, and told me, "You better update right now and tell them we're still together." I wish you guys could know how good and funny he really is. We're officially going by the title girlfriend and boyfriend, though he says I've been his girlfriend practically this whole time. He has been sleeping over essentially every night. He says it's under the guise of being worried. Jess might show back up, but secretly. I think it's because he hates being away from the kids. Whenever he's at work or anywhere that isn't my house, he will text whoever is with the kids asking for picture updates of them, and expresses how much he misses them. It's actually really sweet. He's been allowing me to set the pace still, just also helping give me a nudge when I need it. He's attended a few of my therapy sessions with me to help get a better understanding of what I need from him in terms of this relationship. Jake is honestly everything I could have asked for. I'm lucky to love him. As always, thanks for being here. Until next time, friends.
What a wonderful way to end the update. We're so excited for you guys. I'm kind of dumbfounded that Jess is still on about you, a year later. Like, why? She ruined your platinum friendship. Why is she so obsessed with you? Tyler feels like a much better target, especially learning that he's with someone else and having a baby.
All of her other friends dropped her when they discovered she wrecked not one, not two, Not even 3 or 4, but 5 marriages in total since Tyler and I's divorce. They were kind of like, not my husband or boyfriend. I genuinely don't understand her thought process. I think she somehow managed to knock a few screws loose. Or she's just desperate for any kind of attention. According to Tyler's best friend, who ultimately took my side once he learned the truth of our divorce, his ex-wife cheated, he told me. Jess actually tried befriending the new wife to get close to Tyler. Once Tyler saw who the new wife was talking to, he told her to block Jess, and then Jess also showed up at their house, begging for Tyler back. Funny that she's good enough to screw our marriage up over, but not good enough to keep around. This man's logic is bonkers.
Are Tyler's parents speaking to him again?
No. They're actually even more infuriated with them now than they were in the past, which I didn't think was possible. They're livid that he abandoned his kids for a do-over family. Even his dad, Joe, who tried to be the bridge between Tyler and the kids, is just absolutely done. Before, they wanted him to grow up and try to be a father to the kids. Now they're fully supporting my decision to terminate parental right. Though they did reach out to his new wife and warned her of everything he did to me, just in case Tyler wasn't truthful about what he did to me. Turns out he was truthful to her, and she just doesn't care. She thinks she won by having a man who abandoned his other kids for her. It's giving me major pick-me vibes, and honestly, I'm grateful they went the no-contact route, because trying to co-parent with that would have been a nightmare and probably traumatizing to the kids.
I don't believe your story one bit. Especially the first big update. How come in one day you got a therapist to see you? Therapists that are available the same day are usually there for a crisis when a patient is in life danger, not for some introduction. Don't get me started on a lawyer. You met up with both their parents and they got Jess and Tyler together to show them a slideshow. After that, this Tyler, who you claimed was a very sweet husband, got a baseball bat and tried physically breaking into your dad's home? Another weird thing, maybe you're stupid, but hacking doesn't just happen like that. Oh, and she hacked all your social media accounts, but not Reddit, which she knew you posted all of this. And even if Jess paid someone a good amount of money, she wouldn't just throw away the accounts by posting mean stuff. Also, she has been your best friend since you can remember. How can she act this way? I'll entertain you. Maybe she knew your passwords. Then why not change them? And it was a little weird how you went and gave all these descriptions about your dad, but your husband was just, he's my rock. I've never felt such happiness before. And how come Tyler has gotten married in this time? And if I remember correctly, got a kid? The only way I'll believe you is if you send me the police report of him getting arrested for trying to break in. It doesn't matter anymore if his name gets leaked. The entirety of TikTok, Reddit, and YouTube have heard of your story. Listen to me. You are a disgusting, jobless human if you were lying about this. But considering if in all unlikeliness this is actually real, nah, okay, I'll give you this. I will fully want to consider to support you and wish you the utmost best if this was all real.
1. I did mention I already had a therapist. Before all of this. I've been in therapy since my dad got diagnosed with cancer and honestly, off and on since my mother passed away. Slideshows take 10 minutes to put together, or are you completely unaware of today's technology? Based off of your grammar, I'd say it's ignorance. I'm not aware of how Jess hacked my social media accounts, but since I used to use the same password for everything, I can't imagine it was very hard for her to do that. Forgive me for giving loving details about my father, but skimmed on the ones about the man who fucking cheated on me. I'll make sure to edit that, just for you. In case you're unaware, it takes less than 24 hours to obtain a marriage certificate, and you can literally turn around and get married the very next day. Also, I separated from that marriage almost a year ago. You don't believe someone can get pregnant in that time? Go ask your mommy, whenever she's fixing you up with your cereals. I became pregnant with my first and second child within 2 months of trying to conceive. But you don't think that's possible?
Huh?
I'm so sorry you don't understand the human anatomy. You either always sat in the back during class, or the school system did fail you, specifically. You might confess to the latter, I assume. Oh no! The crazy man with a spelling problem won't believe me unless I dox myself and my family by posting an official police report with all our personal information. How will I ever go on? Oh man, time to shut down the Reddit account because I've been caught. LOL. You sound ridiculous. I don't have a YouTube account, and I also work a full-time job. Maybe you should get a job, since you clearly have nothing better to do than spouting hate towards a stranger on the internet. I'm truly positive that you'd have no balls to say anything to this stranger if the person was standing directly in front of you. Poor baby. Do you need a tissue to blow your nose and wipe your eyes so you can finally consider to get the fuck over yourself? Thanks, but no thanks. I don't need support from people like you. Have a blessed day, though.
Fatality.
Wow, girl, you can now drop the microphone. You just ate him up and spit him out. I am so grateful for this update, and I can particularly appreciate the mouth you have by not letting bullies make you back down, but come right back at them. I appreciate you standing your ground.
Royal AI.
Hey guys, I'm making this one quick and easy since it's the first break I've had from life and a busy schedule in weeks. I had my restraining order court date, and while I didn't get approved for a permanent restraining order, I did obtain a 7-year one. Apparently in my state, it's really hard to get a permanent restraining order. Unless I have tangible proof, it's life or death. Everything I had on Jess wasn't enough for permanent. However, I am still content with this outcome. The kids are also included in the restraining order. If she happens to still be a bother during or after the 7-year RO, I can take her back to court and have her arrested. With that being said, I think I am letting the talks and questions about Jess die here. I love involving y'all about every aspect of my life. However, I don't want her to try to use anything I say about her, even if it's under a false name and protected identity, to say that I've been breaking the restraining order. Jake, the kids, and I decided that since he spends so much time at our house, and his place is essentially a storage unit, that he would be moving in. And before anyone has anything to say about it being too fast, please know I have known Jake my entire life. That's not exaggerating. I've literally known him my entire life. I am comfortable and confident in this choice. Tyler is still a ghost and still has made 0 contact attempts. The kids are beautiful, loved, and thriving. Sorry for it being so short and sweet, but life has been busy between sleep regression, lawyer meetings, court, work, and my older two's extracurricular activities. Love you guys. Thanks for being here over a year later. I hope everyone is doing well.
Just jumping in to say that I've followed your crazy journey from the beginning and love the happy ending. Everyone was hoping you'd end up with Jake, even as we all watched you be so careful and cautious. As horrible as Jess became, I love that you were able to carry on such a strong relationship with her mother. Now that you're not only with Jake and he's moved in, she must be so happy. It's almost like a family redemption story. One of her kids betrays everyone and causes misery, and the other comes in. and lifts you up. It's a love story, baby. Just say yes.
I love that Jake's moving in. It's not too soon. I actually think it will be really good for your children, especially the oldest. Don't forget, her father wasn't nice when you weren't looking. She's already decided Jake is the father of her heart. This may give her a level of security she didn't know she was missing. I look forward to an update when the two of you finally marry, and he gets to adopt them.
That brings us to the end of this story so far. You like Reddit stories presented in this format? Well, if you do, check if you hear this on the original channel. Be sure to come over. You are welcome to join us at Royal AI. What would you advise OP? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to smack the like button, and if you have a story you're willing to share, email it to contactroyalai@gmail.com. See you in the next one.